For years they blamed me for tearing the family apart, until one shocking confession at a funeral destroyed my sister's perfect image forever. My older sister Claire was the kind of person families build entire identities around because from the outside she looked flawless, beautiful, successful, emotionally polished. The daughter relatives bragged about it every holiday while comparing their own children to her like she was some impossible standard everyone else failed to reach. Meanwhile I became the family disappointment almost by default because next to Claire anyone imperfect looked broken, and honestly growing up beside someone like that slowly destroys your sense of reality because no matter what happened, Claire always controlled the narrative. She could manipulate people, lie directly to someone's face, and somehow still end up looking like the victim while I got labeled too emotional anytime I questioned her behavior, and nowhere was that more obvious than in what happened with our father, because when I was 21 Dad suddenly stopped speaking to most of the family after a massive fight nobody would explain properly, and according to Claire it happened because Dad became paranoid and unstable after losing money in a failed business deal, except something about her version never fully made sense to me because before he left, Dad repeatedly tried warning me that Claire isn't who you think she is, but every time I brought it up my mother accused me of trying to start drama out of jealousy, so eventually I stopped asking questions and watched our family slowly rebuild itself around Claire's version of reality, with her becoming even more untouchable after Dad disappeared from our lives completely, and honestly I probably would have stayed trapped in that life forever if not for my grandmother's funeral last winter. Because grief has this weird way of loosening secrets people spend years holding together, and from the second the family gathered at the church the atmosphere felt wrong because Claire looked nervous in a way I'd never seen before while my mother kept whispering to her like they were trying to manage a crisis behind the scenes. And then halfway through the reception after the service, a man I didn't recognize walked into the hall carrying an old leather folder and asking quietly for Claire by name, and I swear the second she saw him all the color disappeared from her face because apparently she recognized him immediately. But before she could stop him the man introduced himself as my father's former business partner and said he had been trying to contact the family for years, and suddenly the entire room went silent because nobody had heard my father's name spoken publicly in almost a decade. And then the man calmly revealed the truth that completely shattered everything I thought I knew about my family, because according to him my father never lost the business due to incompetence or bad investments at all. The company collapsed after Claire secretly embezzled hundreds of thousands of dollars through fake vendor accounts while working as the firm's financial coordinator straight out of college, and when my father discovered it, Claire convinced my mother to help cover it up to avoid criminal charges and public humiliation, meaning the unstable father story our family repeated for years was actually a lie created to protect the golden child from prison, and honestly the silence after that felt unreal because my mother immediately started crying while Claire kept insisting the man was lying. But then he opened the folder and pulled out bank statements, internal emails, and signed settlement agreements proving my father sold almost everything he owned to quietly repay the stolen money before disappearing from the family because he couldn't survive watching everyone protect the daughter who betrayed him. And then came the part that completely destroyed